Hello and welcome to another beautiful edition of the Locker Room on Voice of the People Television. I am Jerry Alpeliohai, and we've got a thrilling show for you today, and it promises to be exciting as the usual. Suspend joins us talking about Ikechukwu and Mayowa. We're ready to break down all the action and share your hot takes on what's going down in the football world. Okay, and we also appreciate our viewers who followed us to our backup channel. Due to the fact that we had issues with the first channel, we had to use our backup channel, talking about VOP TV Plus, and of course the massive turnout and the massive love we got there was really awesome. And I think the views and the comments, we acknowledge them, and of course we're back with our VOP TV channel. It's up and running again. We have it back through the special grace of Almighty God. Okay, but it is what it is, and of course we acknowledge a lot of backlash. Some even tongue-lashed me. Anyway, that's how we love you guys. Anyway, it's part of the feedback, you know. And of course there's still a debate about Esther Okoronkwo's whether she's the daughter of Isaac Okoronkwo. So I am still getting the facts right. I'm still talking to people who were part of that team to see if we could get information, because even Okocha has come out to say something different. But we'll get all of that. But Esther Okoronkwo, I know a lot of people even went to her Wikipedia page that said that she was born in Abia State, she was relocated to the US, and so on. Let me also tell you that Wikipedia was written by somebody. It was not like, anyway, I'm not trying to go head to head with Wikipedia right now, but that is about time I don't want to start. All right, you can also join us via the WhatsApp number showing on your screen to call in. For those who are watching us on LCL TV channel 264, that is where we are on cable. And you can also join the conversation via the chat platform on the YouTube channel. And you can also make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It seems like Morocco will not let us be. Ikechukwu, it's great to have you join us once again. A lot to talk about today.
Yeah, Jerry, good evening, and good evening to our viewers. It's another good day to talk football in the locker room. And midweek edition of this very interesting program. Yes, a lot happened. The comment section was buzzing. A lot of persons were talking about Esther Okoronkwo and how she's. The conversation was basically about her, and people were actually talking about Morocco's, behavior and antics towards the Super Falcons. It's all about football, and that's what football brings. It brings people together. It also brings the best out of people and the worst out of people. It also makes people tend to be very rational at some point. But then the most important thing is the Super Falcons actually got the Mission X done, and then we should be looking at what's next for us in the next couple of years. So it's so good to be here to talk football, Jerry.
Yeah, it's so good to be here to talk football. Mayowa, you also got your own lashes. Anyway, talking about some of us not happy with the fact that we're still downplaying Madugu's status as a top coach, and of course some saying that because we always talk down on our own, but that does not mean that if we see what we're supposed to say, we should be afraid to say it. Whether if it's Randy Wardrum, we're still going to say it. If it's Madugu, we're still going to say it. That's the basis of locker room. We're voice of the people. We have no bias. We always make sure that we take a look at things and say it the way we say it.
Well, it's always amazing to be here. I'm not a stranger to, getting, whiplash, tongue lash, even wiping me cord on the neck. But in any case, if you are in the public space giving opinion, it's not all the time everybody will agree to opinion. And, it comes with the space. However, one thing is standard. When we say things, we want to see improvement. When Madugu did well against Zambia, nobody came out to criticize him. When he did well in the second half against Morocco, nobody came out to criticize him. However, the fact still remains, our girls cannot compete at the highest level with what we have seen so far. Yes, we won the tournament, but we need to do more. We've won 10 titles. Anytime we go for a World Cup tournament, we should not be teams that will be eliminated in the quarterfinals or in the second round. We should be a team that will be in the finals. We have the quality. It's just that we don't have people who have the technical know-how to be able to compete when they meet people who are more technically in depth more than them. and that is where the issue is. Madugu definitely, I mean, if we rate it, out of 6 games, he did so well in 2 out of the 6 games, and that's just the honest truth. However, we are not going to take anything away from him. I was one of that said, I mean, giving 11 people their debut, dropping a whole lot of established stars shows that he can make the tough call. However, beyond the tough call, we need to see, tactical in-depth. We need to see, tactical masterclass on the field of play when we are competing outside Africa. Yes, Madugu has not competed in the world stage, but I mean, the Yorubas will say, Saturday to Ama, Sunday to Ama, that Saturday Latmamo, meaning what you will be. You already start seeing the signs, and at the moment, it's not there yet. So that's just it anyway.
All right, and of course, I know that I know of an adage as well, which Ikechukwu has used on this platform sometime. He said that weekend we go good, now Friday.
I go take no.
Now you go take no. Okay, that's the picture in the word of it. Because the weekend will be better, from Friday. Okay, let's talk about Morocco. It looks like they are not going to let things slide. And it started with complaining about the Super Falcons players not being eligible, talking about plum trade. They were even asking that she's not a Nigerian, saying she's not a Nigerian. Even our own Alozie too was questioned because maybe her accent was deceiving them on the pitch that she is American. But now it looks like the Moroccan Football Federation has made it official. They've launched a formal complaint to the Confederation of African Football over refereeing decisions in the Women's African Cup of Nations final against Nigerian Super Falcons. The federation cited a potential penalty incident in the 82nd minute where the center referee allegedly missed a handball by Super Falcons defender Tosi Demey. Morocco's coaching staff and players expressed frustration over the decision. The Super Falcons, we all know, won the final by defeating Morocco 3-2. We've seen various scores that's always questionable when it comes to final situation, heat of the moment, and the fact that Morocco believes that they ought to have beaten the Super Falcons. I still don't know where that came from, but yeah, in the first half, they had the game, but in the second half, they didn't do the business. They went to sleep, and the Falcons rose to the occasion and did the needful. Yeah, maybe the penalty had come. Okay, it ended 3-3. Okay, going to penalties. Okay, and let's not forget, in the trajectory of the Moroccans down to the final, they had penalties in virtually all their games. So the referee that was giving them penalties all their games, so maybe the contract was not good, was not sweet. He said, I cannot risk my career in the final. I can do it from the group stage down to the semi-finals. They will go a penalty in the semi-finals. So it's a tradition. They must get penalties in every game. They must win all games at all costs just because they are the host. And who is going to send the petition to CAF for the laser they were pointing at Okoronko and some of the players to distract them?
So, I mean, first thing first, we need to understand that in finals, we are supposed to see, we've seen moments like this that defines the game. 2006 Champions League final, Arsenal versus Barcelona. You remember how the red card that the goalkeeper Lookman got actually defined, that particular game, and Barcelona won 2-1. Also, we've also seen, I think 2010 World Cup, Spain was actually saying they're supposed to get a red card for that Dijon's attack on Alonso, but of course, referee didn't call it. Of course, eventually they end up winning that game. So sometimes referee actually look at the heat of the moment and look at, if I make this call, what's definitely going to happen. And for me, right, if you look at that particular incident, I wouldn't really call that a penalty because it's going to be very, very harsh on the Super Falcons. I don't think the referee calls all handball, all handball, penalty. It's very unfair because the lady was very, very away from the ball, and of course her hand positioning was very spot on. She was not. It was not in an unusual placement. So these are actually the rules that define it. But I mean, for a team that has hosted the tournament before, lost at home, and then they're playing final again, you expect them to actually, be worried and sad that they actually got
emotional. They're getting too emotional.
It's part of it, right? It's part of it. This is also going to help, the tournament going forward. Of course, they were expecting that the referee should have actually visited the VAR to actually check, with the VAR and see if that decision should have been, upturned. But unfortunately, she made the call, and for me, I think it was very much the right call because she wasn't actually far from from where the incident took place. It's unfortunate they actually had to lose that way. But they should start by asking themselves that very strong question. You had 2 goals up. Why can't you protect the lead? Why can't you go get more goals? Why are you relying on penalty to actually even come back into the game? At the time the Super Falcons actually got those goals, right, the Moroccans were very well demoralized. There's no way they would have beaten the Super Falcons going into extra time in that particular game. But of course, they want to fancy their chance, or perhaps they want to actually lock the game and hope to get a good result in a penalty shootout. But it's unfortunate, and they should just have to actually, give kudos to the Super Falcons. With the way they're actually pushing, I know it's just going to be a question of time. They definitely will end up winning this championship very, very soon, because they really done a lot as regards football development. But then, I mean, they had the talk and say, persuade for back, they clap for champion. In your terms, people go clap for them. So they need to actually look away from this sort of things and just, embrace the spirit of football, which is, football without violence.
I think for Morocco, I think they've been getting a due advantage, Maiwa. Because if you take a look at it, the past 2 Wafcon, they didn't play any of the qualifiers as the grace of being host nation. And that would likely be the situation in the next 2 editions. So Morocco has been having their way. And even their prelude to the final, they were getting penalties left, right, and center. So maybe they got accustomed to being treated as the baby of CAF, being given all they ask for, all they want. And now they didn't have they didn't get what they wanted, and they now feel they can now cry foul. Maya.
In the last edition, it took 2 red cards to knock out Nigeria, via penalties. I mean, we have 2 red cards in that particular game.
Yes, I remember.
Yes, the one for Ajibade was deserved, but the other one was not. That's number 1. Number 2, I worry that, right now today, if Morocco ends up hosting the next, Wafcon, I think they'll probably win it. And a whole lot of calls will go their way. The thing is this, the referee actually, made the call, said it was a foul. However, VAR overturned it. So if they have any complaint, they should hold VAR responsible. And if you look at the replay very well, I think it was Demey. Her hand was not in an unnatural position when the ball was close to her. The space between her and the ball was very close. It would be so unfair for that penalty to have stand. And I will give kudos to the VAR guys. They did their job perfectly well. Morocco is just bitter, and I'm even disappointed with the coach. The Moroccan coach, he spoke at the end of the game. He said he never even acknowledged Nigeria. He said, Zambia was even better than Nigeria, and they lost because of referee decision. I mean, I make that make sense to me. To be honest with you, I think in the spirit of fair play, this is not right. They want to taint the victory of Nigeria, and as far as I'm concerned, they can continue to shout and make noise all they want. The game has ended. The ladies have won, and there's nothing they can do about it. Whatever complaint they have, they should take it to CAF. I know it holds no water, but my fear is this. I hope CAF will not be pressured into rewarding them because they've been saving CAF in terms of the hosting, in terms of stepping up to host competitions. That's just my only hope. I hope CAF will not compensate them for all this and make them win and give them favorable decision that will make them win the WAFCON the next time they are hosting.
Yeah. All right. What's the worst case scenario? Will CAF now say they should replay the final?
No, that's not never going to happen.
Or award them the final the trophy.
It's also not going to
this is not WAF. Even if it's WAFU Cup, even if you are playing against the least ranked team in the world in the final and they beat you, it's gone. So what does Morocco tend to achieve from all of this?
First, psychological warfare. Like my Maralita said, they actually position themselves in a position where when they eventually host the next tournament, all eyes will be on them. Whatever decision you make, it's going to be a case of at least we've said it. These guys don't even want us to actually win. We'll do all we can to actually get to the final. We end up not winning it. Remember 25 years ago, Super Eagles of Nigeria alongside Ghana hosted the Nations Cup. You remember in the final against Cameroon, that penalty shootout, if ever played that penalty, it was clear. It was a clear goal. It crossed the goal line, but because he placed his hand on his head, the referee disallowed the goal, and we end up not winning that particular championship. We didn't cry foul. We actually suck it in, and we moved on. Life I mean, sometimes you actually have to play well. You know, it's a game of football. Football is a game of chance. Sometimes you play very well and then you end up losing. In this case, Morocco were not, you know, the best side in the entire 90 minutes of the game. First half, yes, they did very well. Up till perhaps, let's say, about 40 minutes into the game, they're still 50 minutes into the game, they're still very much, you know, a very good side. But from the 60-minute mark, they started, you know, losing shape, and Super Falcons pounced on them and won that particular game. So I find it very difficult for, you know, the way the Moroccan Football Federation is actually handling this. This is a tournament that the Super Falcons have always been known to be the best team, you know, in every edition. We are always favorite going to every championship. Now, if you have an issue with CAF, I think this is not even an issue of you petitioning CAF. There's a way you have to, you know, address sort of things, approach them, and then have a conversation, talk about, you know, things that are, you know, that's going to really define the game and help, you know, improve female football. These sort of things actually, you know, tend to scare investors, because then when they look at it and they look at, you know, the whole incident behind, you know, who won the championship and why you actually, I mean, making views out of it, it becomes a very big problem. And this is where I find it very difficult to understand why Morocco is actually doing this. The only thing I can actually look at, you know, why they're actually reacting the way they're actually reacting is because they want to position themselves to be champions in this Nations Cup. And
that's how to do it.
No, that's exactly how to do it. When this is psychological.
They're not supposed to.
Every single when you make this sort of remark, referees will definitely want to always favor you. I mean,
what if they don't even get to the next final? Because let's not forget, Morocco is not even the top 3 in Africa.
No, Jerry.
We still have South Africa.
Jerry. The last two Nations Cup, last two Nations Cup would disagree that Morocco is not the best 3. They are not among the best 3. The last two Nations Cup would disagree because, of course, they got to semi-finals back to back. So it says that they are a very good
side. They were in
side.
the semi-final in the last edition. Yeah. And of course, was it the final? They
lost to South Africa. So you can't say they are not in the best. They're not among the best 3 now. Indeed, they are.
Maybe things have been going their way.
Yes. So what I'm saying is that they're actually positioning themselves, and it's a psychological thing. Now every referee coming up against them, Jose Mourinho is a master of this particular game. He complains about the referee, and when the referee comes into the ring, before the referee takes a decision, the first thing you start thinking about is, if I don't take a decision that is going to be favorable to these people, even if it's going to be fair. It's going to be a case of we said it and the referee has actually, you know, done it. So people who understand this sort of things, they do it, and this is exactly what they're actually doing. They're trying to position themselves in that place. And trust me, if it continues, come next Nations Cup, if Morocco give a good performance like they did going to the final, there's nothing good that is going to stop them, especially when they play against a team that is not that. If Nigeria don't end up making it to the final,
if Nigeria makes it to the final, they let them do all the antics. They will get whipped very well. This time around, they will not even give them an excuse to even look for penalty. If they let them get one penalty.
Your football is not developing, Jerry.
We don't need to develop all the football we need. Morocco, on a good day, the Super Falcons are excited. They will beat them for fun. Forget about anything.
What? Okay.
With so much confidence, I'm saying it. They will whip them for fun. Forget all those things they were doing in the first time. See, this time around, there will not be opportunity for others. They will be looking for penalty left, right, and center. While the Super Falcons will be busy scoring. I trust Esther Kurunko. Rashida Ajibade will be available. Echegini will also still be available. And of course, the best goalkeeper in the world, Chiamaka and Dose, will also be available. Let them worry. They're hosting, I mean. No
the next tournament is probably coming up, I think, sometimes next year.
Yeah,
and
I think December next year.
It's going to be Morocco again. And this is where I have issues with CAF, you know, giving Morocco the right to host 3 tournaments at the same time. I don't think it's appropriate. It puts a whole lot of pressure on the organizers to favor the host nation, because I mean, yes, kudos to Morocco. They've been stepping up. Even the male version of the Wafcon, Morocco is still going to host it. You know, it gives them a whole lot of leverage to pressure the organizers to do something for them. I think CAF needs to change the way this hosting right is given. Probably maybe find an alternative route or finding alternate hosts apart from allowing one country host it 3 times. If Morocco makes it to the final, I think they'll probably win it. That's number 2. The implication of the next tournament is this: the Women World Cup that's coming up in 2027, the Wafcon will serve as a qualifier. So it's a must. If you want to qualify, you must make it to at least the quarterfinal. If you want to get an automatic ticket, you must at least make it to the semi-final. So if Morocco is hosting, one of the things they want to do is to ensure that they get to the semi-final, and that might not be a reflection, you know, of true quality. You need to ask yourself this question: why is Morocco making it to the final 2 times that they hosted? They've never got to the final. Why are they making it to the final the 2 times that they hosted? That is the question we should be asking.
Yes, I think I need to also ask that question. Why is it that the 2 editions that Morocco hosted, they always make it to the final? Is it a must that they make it to the final? And the way they made it to the final this time, there's a lot of questions. Penalties were just being thrown at them, left, right, and center. The last edition, the Super Falcons did not cry foul when the Super Falcons got 2 red cards in that game and lost to penalties. I think it was Morocco that lost that way. I know they would have brought what's the CAF president to Morocco, Musepe, to come and collect lashes in face panel. Who explain to us how we lost that game, how 2 red cards was given to our team.
Jerry, we also need to understand that in African football, when either male or female, Nations Cups like that, apart from Nigeria in the female category anyways, when you host a tournament, you're most likely going to win it in Africa. It's more likely, especially when the North Africans host this tournament. It's difficult to take it away from them. But we saw it with Egypt. Tunisia did theirs in 2004. So it's a trend for them. They know how to actually put all of the pressure, the antics, and everything. So I think the question we should be asking is, why do we have only Morocco as a team that is ready, or a country that is ready to host the female version? Why is the likes of Nigeria and South Africa not stepping up to host this tournament? These are the questions. And because nobody is actually bidding to actually host the tournament, that's exactly why Morocco is getting it. And again, it speaks to the fact that many of these nations are actually looking at the value that this tournament is bringing. Perhaps they're looking at the money that's coming to this tournament is not worth it in their own terms. That's exactly why. But for Morocco, that have a project that has been running since 2009, they want everything football to be in their home country, and that's exactly why we see their male and the female category. They've been doing so well. They got to the Olympic semi-finals, they got to the World Cup semi-finals, they make version. The female got to the back-to-back Olympics, back-to-back Nations Cup final. So it tells you that something really good is happening in Morocco.
No matter how you plan, the thing is that it takes away the shine of the plan for the future if you have the mentality of winning at all costs. Because what I saw in that final is that entitlement mentality, that since you are preparing where you have spent money hosting the tournament, that means all the hosts of the men's World Cup should be winning it. USA is hosting the next World Cup. USA should win it. Yes. USA should be states to win it. Then Russia, when Russia hosted, they should win it. Saudi Arabia should also win it because they are the host.
No, Jerry, see.
So if Morocco is, you are hosting, but let it be by fair play.
Jerry, what is going to see? The only thing that will take the only thing that will make a host nation not win a tournament is when the quality, in terms of the opposition they are playing at the time, is overwhelming. We saw Korea. We all saw Korea and Korea Japan, how they got to the semi-finals of that World Cup.
This Morocco team
Jerry, you remember how Korea got to
this Morocco team we are talking about?
If they
how fantastic are they?
Female version.
Yes.
No, they did very well, Jerry.
They did well.
Did well.
Are they exceptional? Are they a world-class team? Are they a team that is unbeatable, that they walk over teams?
No.
This is it. I saw them against Ghana.
That's what
they were struggling.
Jerry,
they struggled against Ghana. So there's nothing too fantastic about this.
Nobody's saying they're a fantastic side. But in terms of female level, you give it to them.
I'm talking about the female level. I saw them. Is it not the same Morocco I saw against the Black Queens of Ghana?
Did they rob Ghana?
They don't have to rob Ghana.
That's what I'm saying.
They made it through penalties.
It tells you that Ghana is also not a good side.
Okay, let me now tell you, they rob Ghana. Yes, let me put in the Morocco shoe. They rob Ghana because they beat Ghana via penalties.
So how is that robbery?
Yeah. What if there was a foul situation and Ghana did not complain and decided to let go?
What I'm saying is, to defeat a nation that is hosting a tournament, just like defeating an incumbent in Africa presidential election, the difference must be
We should
very
not
wide.
encourage- We should not encourage.
Nobody's encouraging, but that's the reality we live in. The margin must be very wide, like very wide for you to actually convincingly beat a host nation in Africa. It's difficult.
Good enough. They shouldn't be waiting for penalties to win.
No,
games.
but
how did Korea get to
They shouldn't be going for penalties.
how did Korea get to semi-final
they've gotten used to penalty winning
Jerry,
games.
how did Korea get to
That's
World
why
Cup?
they're angry that they didn't get.
Why remember 2002 World Cup? How Morocco gets Korea got. You remember? In fact, Germany need to play a mind game in that semi-final before Germany were able to defeat them, because Vola was saying they have to score 2 goals to count it as 1. And because every first goal against a team against them in that tournament will be disallowed.
True.
So
if there were VAR
in 2002, they will not even get to quarter-final.
Korea will never get to
Spain scored 2 good goals.
However, the thing is this: you cannot expect a country to be stepping up and saving CAF all the time, and you don't expect them to be entitled. That is where the situation is. And Ikechu said something that's very, very correct. A whole lot of countries do not see the value of hosting the Wafcon, the Women's Nations Cup. Let me give you a typical example. If you look at the Euro that just went, that just passed, even when Switzerland are not playing, Switzerland were knocked out in the round of 16. Even when they were not playing, the stadium were filled up. Any game that Morocco is not part of it, there's practically nobody in the stands. There's practically nobody there. In that same tournament, they kept our ladies in a 4x8 room. That was where they kept them. So, I mean, a whole lot of countries do not see any value in hosting.
So that means the antics have started even from the way they've been handling the Super Falcons.
Obviously, you expect Morocco to want to get something in return for stepping up to save CAF. They are going to save them the 3rd time again next year when nobody's stepping up. So I will not be surprised if CAF ends up, caving under the pressure and rewarding them. Is it fair to the game? Does it speak well for the game? No. But CAF needs to re-strategize as regards how the hosting of women competition goes in Africa. We cannot continue to rely on Morocco if we want the game to be very fair.
All right. Let me also give them breaking news ahead. As far as the Super Falcons of Nigeria and the Bayern of South Africa will play in that next edition, they should not expect to win that trophy. If they should host it 10 times in a row. They will lose.
I hope you are not planning to travel to Morocco.
I will be there. I will be there in the Wafcon. Don't worry, no matter the antics, we gather there. Anyway, let's talk about Esther Okoronkwo. She has been voted the Super Falcons Fast Player of the Year of the tournament. I beg your pardon, at the 2024 Women's African Cup of Nations. The 27-year-old forward was a standout performer for Nigeria, scoring twice in 6 and registering 6 assists. That's wonderful. In 6 appearances, Okoronkwo's impressive form earned her 2 Women of the Match awards and recognition as the fans' favorite player. The Super Falcons won the Wafcon 2024 title by defeating Morocco 3-2 in the final. If you ask me, she should have taken that most valuable player of the tournament ahead of Rashida Ajibade. But Rashida Ajibade, of course, also did well. Okoronkwo was exceptional at this tournament.
I agree she was exceptional. It's just so sad that she's 27 already. I would have hoped that she's...
Can still play the 40.
Yeah.
And this lady did it. What's her name? The defender?
Ebi.
Yeah.
I think we had Patience Abre also.
Was in our 40s.
Yeah, Patience Abre also played over 30. So, but
she can still do it.
I would have really wished she's, maybe around 23, because of course, at 27, she's already getting to, this is the peak of her career. So, I mean, in 2-3 years, you'll be expecting her to be in the twilight. But, I mean, she was amazing. And it's so sad that we discovered her quite late. And this reminded me of what Michel Alozie was talking about in an interview, how she got discovered by Wildrum, that the Super Falcons actually traveled to the US. And when they got to the US, the players, many of them had visa issues. So the teams, the girls, the players that were expected to be part of in the camp were not, complete. So they actually, Wildrum actually just, open invitation for all Nigerians born in the US, and that's how she actually got to the camp. And of course, that's almost a similar case for the likes of Okoronkwo. The problem I have now is the fact that when we don't have this quality of players early enough, it's really going to be hurting us. I mean, you have this kind of player, you want to expect that in a couple of years down the line, we have other players that will be watching, understudying her to become the next set of Esther Okoronkwo in the team. But of course, I mean, because of her age now, because of the fact that we don't have a proper channel to actually discover her early, it was difficult. But it's a good one for a player who just got to the tournament in her first time, and then narrowly she missed out on the bigger prize, which Ajibade, for me, I think Ajibade also really deserved it. She did a lot of stuff. And I think one of the things that actually gives that award to player of the tournament is the fact that the person who showed exceptional leadership in a team, that won tournament most likely will win it. And that's exactly what she's shown. And she rallied the girls. She was instrumental. She did a job very well. But of course, if Esther Okoronkwo continues to play the way she did in this particular tournament, we're hoping to actually see another leader in this particular Super Falcons, and hopefully she's going to be I think the last time we had a forward that is we look back and we were very, very confident that we have a proper number 9 in the Super Eagles is Okpara. The likes of Oshola are actually wide players who can actually run around defenders, but we don't have that person who is a point man and who can actually be that goal threat you want to actually see in a team. It's so good to actually have her in this particular team. I just hope that she stays injury free for the next tournament, and perhaps maybe she will be able to actually get the big prize in the next edition.
All right, Mayowa fans and pundits alike have praised her clutch performances and composed demeanor on the pitch.
Well, I mean, I think all the accolades she's getting is well deserved. I mean, if you follow Esther, she actually tore her ACL twice, and in under 3 years, she was able to recover, and she's doing great things for herself. Apart from that, the same way Alole was discovered, she came in through that route too. Wadrom had to do an SOS call when we couldn't fill the number of players, and then Esther Okoronkwo and the rest of them showed up, and that's how they've been part of the team. One quality about her is this: she can play as a top 9, and she can also play wide. If you look at how she played in the final, after she was isolated, when the changes were made, and you had more bodies forward, Okoronkwo played wide, and he was instrumental in creating some assists and creating opportunities for others to score. That is how special she is. It's so unfortunate that she's joining the party so late. However, I think this is somebody we should encourage. And I hope that there are younger strikers, maybe the likes of Ijamilusi, who is just, I think, 22 or thereabout, can study her a whole lot. Because, I mean, if you look at those striking for us, apart from Risola and Ijamilusi, who are in their early 20s, the others, Onumonu, Odega, Oshola, they are well advanced in age, and probably this might be their last competition. I hope the younger ones coming, who are much more younger than, and Okoronkwo, can really understudy her and see. I will not be surprised if he continues in this, with this performance, and injury is not an issue for her. I will not be surprised if in the next tournament she probably becomes, the woman of the tournament. Apart from the fact that, Ajibade brings a whole lot of experience, I think, she also deserves a shout at, being the woman of the tournament. But obviously, Captain Fantastic has been there for all the games. Definitely, you want to give it to somebody who has much more experience than, and Okoronkwo, if you ask me.
All right, much more experience. Anyway, it is what it is. And let's talk about Ademola Lookman. Atlanta is making a strong effort to block Ademola Lookman's potential transfer to Inter Milan. Despite Inter's improved offer of 45 million plus add-ons, Atlanta has opted to put transfer talks on hold and offered Lookman a new contract worth 5 million euros per year. This move aims to persuade Lookman to stay with the Italian club. Lookman has already agreed on personal terms with Inter Milan for an annual salary of 4.5 million euros, but Atlanta's new offer matches that amount. However, Lookman reportedly rejected the contract offer, indicating his desire to leave Bergamo. This development has boosted his chances of joining Inter Milan. Yeah, I think he's a man after my heart on this decision. And where were they? Maybe they thought he would not get offers. yeah, they felt maybe he was going to stay, so they didn't take him serious. So, but even if they offer him 10 million, he shouldn't stay at Atlanta. He has paid his dues. He should go to a bigger club side where he'll be more recognized. This is at the tail end of his career. And Inter Milan is a club side that encourages players even in their 30s. So he's going to play a long while if he's doing well. They will not say because he's old, he's 34. They will say they will not play him when he's actually still active and is still contributing to the performance of the team.
After the Champions League final in 2006, you know, a lot of persons were talking about Thierry Henry. They were saying it's time to actually leave Arsenal. You know, in fact, they described him. I think one of the tabloids described him as, you know, a whale in a pond. You know, Lookman is bigger than Atlanta at this point. The best player in Africa should not be, you know, in a middle table team anywhere in Europe. So I think it's high time he actually make this move. He made this move, and Inter Milan is just the right step, you know, for him to actually go to. There's Inter Milan, there's Napoli. You know, these are the big teams. These are the biggest teams in Italy in terms of you know, the status at this point. And if he decides to actually move out of Italy, there's an Atletico Madrid that is also a step higher than Atlanta. I don't think he has any business right there, you know, in Bergamo. He's done his bit, and like they say, you have to leave the ovation when it's loudest, and this is the point for him to actually leave. Money should not be the motivation factor for him now. He should realize he's 28 now, and just in a few years he won't actually be attractive to top clubs again. This is the last shot for him for bigger teams in Europe for proper Champions League football. And Inter, like you rightly said, you know, these guys have the magic wand to actually manage player even above 30, even in their 35. You know, Italians naturally have this culture, but Inter Milan and AC Milan, even Juventus have this special thing because it comes with they are more like the feeders of the national team. So if he goes to Inter Milan, I think that's a very good place for a side that actually have gone to UEFA Champions League twice in the last 3 years. Come on, it says a lot about, you know, how structured the club side is. This is the best time for him to actually make this move. I mean, he shouldn't actually fail for any reason to make this move.
All right, and he also has a chance of winning titles. Maiwa, who would throw away such an opportunity because of just an additional 500,000? And I think Inter will even be willing to don't worry, sign. When you do well this season, score its number of goals, we'll add that 500. Why are you staying in the club side? Has no any opportunity? Because I think Atlanta would have looked at the transfer window. Where will you see a replacement for Lookman? I don't think you can get a replacement for Lookman even at 40 million right now.
Well, the thing is very simple. I think the highest Atlanta will ever achieve at the moment, I'm not saying in the future, at the moment, is the Europa League that they won. I don't think they have the capacity to do more than what they have done. And for me, Admiral Lookman, you know, he honored the gentleman agreement that he was not going to leave, that he will give them another season. He has done that. I don't think there's any reason why, you know, Atlanta should block him. That's number one. Number two, there was an issue between him and the coach. Nobody apologized to him. They disrespected him, and nobody said anything. And, you know, they mended fence, you know, internally. And the coach did not come out to apologize to him when he publicly, you know, insulted Admiral Lookman. So for that, I think he should leave. Also, the club that wants to buy him is an avenue. You know, the club has the issue of grooming old players. I mean, you have people playing till their late 30s in Inter Milan. That's an opportunity for him. How many players in Atlanta are played till their late 30s? If he signs another contract, they probably offer him another 5 years. And that might just be the end, playing with a struggling team, a mid-table team. Like Ikechukwu said something rightly, Inter Milan has been in the Champions League final twice in the last 4 years. It shows what they are trying to build. Yes, they did not win it, but at least there's a form of consistency there. So if I were Admiral Lookman, I would give 500,000 they're adding to it. I'll probably go to an Inter Milan that gives me longevity. I see him playing another 10 years with you know, Inter Milan because of their pedigree of allowing players get much more older with them. And that will probably give him a rest of mind to be able to perform and not be thinking of the next place he's going to play when he gets into the early 30s that players start moving on. So for me, I think Inter Milan will be the best bet for him. He should not be deceived by the 500,000. I think, you know, there is more Inter Milan will offer him than what Atlanta has offered him so far, to be honest with you.
All right, definitely honesty taken and point noted. Okay, let's talk about the transfer window. Luis Diaz has completed his move to Bayern Munich from Liverpool in a £65.5 million deal, signing a 4-year contract with the Bundesliga champions. And the Colombian winger expressed his excitement about joining the club, stating his desire to help the team win every possible title. Diaz will wear the number 14 shirt at Bayern Munich and is expected to make an immediate impact. And of course, he made the move to Liverpool for around 22 million pounds, and being sold for 65 million pounds. I think it's a good deal for everybody. Yeah,
a good deal for everybody. A good deal for Luis Diaz in particular, because of course Liverpool's. I think the last 2 seasons he's really not been that player. Liverpool actually expect. Apart from the season, Liverpool got to the UEFA Champions League final that they actually lost to Real Madrid. I think he's really been struggling. He's really been struggling to get his form. It's a good one. It's a fresh start for Vincent Kompany, who's managed players in England before. I think he's actually trying to bring in a couple of players who actually played in the Premier League, and his attack is looking more like Premier League attack. Now we have Olise, Harry Kane, and now Luis Diaz. So I think he's doing something beautiful.
Musiala out for a long time now.
Yes, Musiala out for a very long time. Of course, they've also sold to Muller. So I think he's really going to get a lot of time, playing time, and that's exactly what every footballer wants. So it's a good one for him. Let's see how much he's going to actually get into that Bayern Munich team and then become a proper key player in that particular team.
All right, the last left winger that left Liverpool to Bayern, we all know how it ended. Mane had to even fight with the club side before he made the move to Saudi. Is that going to happen to Diaz too?
Well, I think we need to ask Liverpool. Who is helping them with their soap? How can Bayern Munich splash 65 million pounds on Luis Diaz? How did that happen?
He still has 2 years left on his contract now.
How is he a fantastic player?
Yes, now he can dribble 1 or 2 players.
The market is bad.
He can do 1 or 2 players. He still has 2 years left.
Inflation has killed the game.
No, Diaz is still playing.
If Liverpool can buy Florian Wirtz for over 100 million pounds, I think Diaz deserve to be bought.
If you look at it,
no matter what inflation is saying, Diaz should never go to Bayern for 65 million pounds. It's crazy. Are you saying there are no quality strikers?
Liverpool is bidding for
or that can even do more than
Liverpool is bidding for Isak for over 100 million pounds.
Yes. The thing is that
does Isak deserve 100 million?
The thing is that I've come to understand something, Mariwa.
It will be crazy.
Exactly. So that's the market today. It's very bad.
Every day we learn. I've come to understand that club sides buying players at big amounts of money, it also has a way of helping the big clubs. Because, for instance, if you take a look at Liverpool, they bought players. They didn't buy any player last season because they look at their wages and what they are getting. Have you noticed they delayed before deciding to give Salah and Van Dijk a new contract until when they were certain that they were going to win the Premier League, and with the way they did in the Champions League and so on and so forth. They made a lot of money from TV deals, and spending this money, it amortizes their spending and so on. And if you look at their net spend, I think there was a stat I saw, their net spend is just 100 after the sale of Luis Diaz. Taking a look at what they've sold and what they've bought. So their net spend is just 100. And if you buy a player in a huge amount, you amortize it to what you are earning and so on and so forth. At the end of the day, you are still even safe. Liverpool is still even safe to spend up to 500 million extra. So Jerry, and they will not break any rules.
So Jerry, how has Højlund helped Manchester United? The acquisition of Højlund.
No, if you ask me, Man United spend a lot of money. This season they bought Højlund.
That's what I'm saying.
That is why they were able to buy lots of players, because after winning the FA Cup, they were still going to play in the Champions League the following season.
Jerry. So
the TV rights. You need to take a look at Manchester United played a friendly in the US. That was even higher than the final of the glorified preseason World Cup.
Stop calling that thing glorified.
Man United just played a friendly, and you take a look at the turnout, the ticket sales alone. The money they make for that ticket sales alone, they can easily go and still buy another player for 60 million, and nothing will happen.
Jerry,
you are looking at the financial benefit. They're making money.
What benefit? What benefit did Jordan bring? I'm trying to know. At least I can say for Pogba.
Now, I know it's a scam.
He said.
I said Jerry said that he has been able to scam Bayern Munich with about 40 million pounds. I mean, how can you say Luis Diaz for 65 million?
If you notice,
somebody that don't even know how to score. How?
Liverpool didn't want to sell. They first came with the 50 million pounds, over 52 million pounds offer. They didn't want to sell until they got Ekitike and they said, okay. And he has already told the club he wants to leave, even last season. They said he has to stay because they are not buying any players last season. So he stayed one more season and he still said he wants to leave. So when they bought Ekitike, he had to go. And Bayern are desperate. They want him. So 65 million pounds, if he scores 10 more goals or he wins Champions League, they'll still be paying us add-ons. I think this is good. Everybody's happy. So Diaz is happy.
So you now want to carry 65 million pounds, add some money to buy Isaac for over 100.
Yes, no.
Kai.
Yes, no. We are still even going to sell more players. There's more players are still available. Man United, you can come and pick one.
No, talk to my
Man United can come and pick one. No.
Talk to my
50 million. Real Roma is doing well in the preseason. 16 years old.
We don't want.
Come and take him for 40 million. And Abi Elliott is also available for 70 million pounds.
Don't worry.
At least we'll add that money and get.
Let's rebuild this small.
Rebuilding what? You're rebuilding with Buemo. I saw a skit.
No, United is close to signing.
I saw a skit of Buemo. He was a shaved bar head like this. He was in the gym and they were writing his stats. They all. It was so funny. It was so funny. He was tired with just by 2 push of the lift. He was already tired. But I don't see if Ubero does not do it this season. I tell you, the memes is going to be like Harry Maguire.
It's not going to do well.
It's going to do well now. Calm
it's
down.
Not going to do well.
No.
See, the thing is this: it's not going to do well, and the reason is this: the support system that Mbeumo needs is not there yet. There's a particular way Ruben Amorim wants to play, and they are not buying the players to do it. If we continue with what I've seen so far, Amorim will struggle again next season based on how he wants to play. So Mbeumo will struggle.
All right. Oh, who am I to argue with somebody who is in the transfer scene, who knows what's happening? Here we go. All right, thank you, Mayo. Thank you, Ikechukwu. Thank you, the guys behind this. Talking about likes of Victor, Sam, and not leaving out talking about Jeremiah and of course Hassan. My name is Jerry Apelho. I say thanks for being a part of Locker Room. Up next is Political Lens with Chukwuma Okoro. And like I always say, stay safe, and if not to anything at all, do it to the spot room.